YouTube, I am Michael James, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to paint Alita the Battle Angel. Let's check it out. Welcome back to Michael James Fine Art. If you are new to this channel, I am Michael James, a freelance fine artist creating to spread positivity and good vibes. In this video, I'm going to show you how I painted Alita the Battle Angel. This is a really cool painting that I did a few streams back, and it's been getting a lot of attention on social media, so I thought I would do a quick tutorial on it. If you're interested in improving your own artwork, learning some tips, or just enjoy watching, then stick around because I'm going to break down my thoughts and processes for this whole piece. Before we get into it, I'm going to ask a few things. Please like and subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our new exciting content, including time lapses, tutorials, and shorts, plus the weekly live streams that are fun, interactive, and exciting. Share this video with a friend to spread the good vibes and keep those creative juices flowing. But most importantly, I need you to stay healthy and stay happy. Much love, gang. All right, Alita the Battle Angel. This was a very fun watercolor painting. It is an original manga series and was made into a movie that was very well received and very entertaining. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It was good from start to finish, very entertaining. The characters, the casting, the action. It's a pretty good story. So hopefully they'll actually be releasing a second one soon. There was not talks, but everybody wants more Alita. So we figured we'd get a watercolor piece in. We started with a nice solid drawing. We always go in with a lot of detail in the drawing stages usually, and that allows us to choose what we want to include or leave out in the painting stages. So because we have the details, the marks, even some of the highlights, it makes the painting process easier rather than trying to specifically draw details with paint. We can choose to highlight them or pretty much cover them right up. So now we go in and we begin wetting the paper strategically in certain areas so that we can put paint down and have it flow throughout the figure. But not everywhere, as we are thinking of design and light at this point. So we are designing the overall composition of the piece, the background, shapes, the colors, the values, but we're also focusing on the light on the figure so that we can keep our values consistent and show form in space like we talk about, which happens when you show proper lights and darks. Texture can be difficult to achieve with watercolor, so I really like to keep the background loose and painterly a lot of the times, unless it's a full final piece. I do use a lot of paint splatter and dripped paint and washes so that it almost feels like texture, because again, watercolor is very difficult to get texture because you're working with water and inevitably it dries and all that's left is the pigment. So as we continue going through the figure, we begin putting in some flesh tones, working light to dark and continuing to just build up the darks. With watercolor, that is a technique that works very well, so you can continue adding in your darks as the paper slowly dries. But at this point, the paper is still very damp. We are using a 140-pound watercolor cold press. That allows us to keep working on the paper while it's saturated and then into its damp stages so that the paint reacts consistently throughout the piece. And now we begin putting in some really nice dark values. We talk all about values, and in watercolor we creep up to them similar to charcoal drawings, but at some point you do have to put in your nice dark values, your accurate colors, so that you can begin judging the rest of the painting and the piece. So we go in with some really nice dark purples after we put in the flesh tones so we can see that those are correct, find our other dark values, and begin putting in some red in the hair that is almost going to be a transparent layer. So when we cover it up, it'll give us a little bit of shine that will show through. and turn the brown purples into some nice dark magentas. So now continuing in through the face, we are always thinking shapes and values. So we continue getting more specific with our shapes and just building up the layers in the values. Now, as you can see, we go from what is a flesh tone to a pretty bold dark black even, and that is what begins to give the character and the figure form. Because when you have your lights and your darks, you can begin to see where the light hits and where the light does not hit, which creates shape and form. So this part, we were trying to make sure that the red under her eyes matched the values or surrounding her cheeks and her face, because it's not part of her face. It is a blood that she smeared on her face, almost like a paint. So we wanted that to look like it almost had been swiped across her face and dripped a little bit and was sitting on top of her face versus being part of her skin. And now we always go in with some nice black pen, mark some really nice clean lines, and even some dark washes. Again, this just pulls out the highlights that we will put in with our white gel pen or white acrylic paint. So now that we like where the face is, we begin working down towards the sword. This is explained in the movie, but that is an assassin's weapon throughout the film. It's very fun, so it's instrumental to her character. And we are loving this piece. It came out really fun. Once we get the nice light showing on the sword so that your eye carries up through the piece, through her mechanical arm into her face, we really like where the piece is flowing. And we begin just dialing in a few small details on her hand here so that the focus comes right back down to our signature, and it will continue from our edges, our highlights, and our dark shapes. We really liked where it came out to, so that is how we're gonna finish this one up. Once you like where the piece is, don't force it, finish it, call it done, and move on to the next piece. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying the content, if you did learn something new, please smash that like down below. Subscribe if you feel so inclined, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of the future content. Can't thank you guys enough for the love, and until next time, stay healthy, stay happy. Much love, gang.